Golgo 13 is based off of a manga. He's an unflappable assassin who has a set rule system. If he says he's going to kill someone, he does it within a certain time frame. He's probably one of the most famous, you know, ice cold blood in his veins types of assassins. So at the beginning of the movie, they show him shooting a person, and then the second scene they show him shooting a person, and that guy is an oil tycoon who doesn't like that. So he hires killers and CIA and supernatural assassins to go after Golgo 13. And that's the movie. Honestly, when I watched this movie, I didn't know, but it's very dated. First off, it came out in the 80s, so like the animation style is very like freeze frame kind of, you know, they're going for more fancy. There's not a lot of movement, and so there's a lot of like close-ups and like frozen characters, and it feels really cheap. I'm not trying to knock the animation company, but the movie just, I didn't like it. I didn't like this movie at all. This movie has a really bad story, and like they introduce like all these female characters who get like beaten up and naked, and it's very I don't know if the story is misogynistic, but it feels misogynistic, like highly. They have like all these characters, and they're just, and then like the main character, he's not very interesting. He's like a James Bond kind of BS character who always gets the ladies. They always want him for no reason. He feels like a Gary Stu at times. Another character that I really like, Jack Reacher, is also the same way in the books. You know, sometimes it's really awkward because he'll be investigating like a murder, and he's almost a homeless person, and then the women are throwing themselves on him for no reason. Feels the same way with Golgo 13. Even with James Bond too. I've read all of the James Bond novels. He doesn't have sex with every single female character like in the movies, so it sort of becomes this trope that like James Bond always beds the Bond girl, and it comes off as lame. So Golgo 13 does the same thing and sleeps with everyone in this movie, basically, almost everyone. And the action isn't very memorable. There's this elevator fight where they reuse the same footage after the guy dies. I don't know if that was a mistake, but it's so awkward. So many plot contrivances. And the movie just left a really bad taste in my mouth. The story was awful. And then when you get to the final twist, so pretentious, so over the top. It just made me want to, like, I wanted to turn this movie off like 4 times, but I just kept going. I don't know why. I wanted to turn it off at the half-hour mark, at the 45-minute mark, the hour mark. Just so much plot armor. Golgo 13 just seems to like walk away from like a car getting blown up by like 50 guys with machine guns at all times, and just felt really over the top. And then they hype up all the villains, and the villains show up and they're, I don't know, man, this movie just sucked. I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna call it now. Golgo 13 for me is the worst animated film that I've seen. Yeah. It's hard to say that. There's probably people that are fans of this movie, but for me, I did not like it at all. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. I give Golgo 13 a 0 out of 10.